Let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Data Talks. I have a super exciting guest today, Dominik Matyka. And well, there's a lot of things he stands for, but that's where we're going to look at. Hey, Dominik, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, Ben. Hi.
Excellent. Right, we got connected through actually a joint friend, Marcel, who made me aware of your success. But sadly, my daughter is too old now to have actually being able to use Bobby to put her to sleep. But I have already recommended it to some friends which are in the right, let's say, baby age to use it. So Dominik, people may know you from the German show Ding des Jahres, comparable to Shark Tank, with your Bobby product. Can you quickly give a high-level summary actually of what Bobby is and how business is going for you in 2020?
Yeah, so it's around the me time for parents in the times when you need it. So we have developed a product, you basically see it behind me, so those little orange bobbies. And it's a product that turns your baby car seat into a baby rocker. So to get a coffee, get a break, get a short workout, it's a little stylish device that is safe for babies, that is smart moving and helps you to have a rocker on the go. So that's a Bobby, yeah.
Exciting. And how I have to ask you, right? How it was 2020 for you?
Well, starting a new business is always super exhausting, right? So it's going pretty well, I would say. Although me as an entrepreneur, I'm always like to have things going very fast, and it's of course going too slowly. I believe when you take it down to entrepreneurship in general, it's super hard to deliver operational excellence. Starting a product where you have nothing comparable, it's not digital. So you do have engineering, you do have component sourcing, product design, manufacturing, quality assurance, certifications. You have international shipments and fulfillment, logistics, and consumer relationships. So many product-specific tasks that require just like great excellence. And having a small team, you always have to prioritize, and we're in between of, we've just launched last month. So the first thousands of customers have a Bobby, but it's still, we receive feedback. We have to take the feedback back to engineering. We launched our shop based on Shopify with a front end based on WordPress. Now have found out that our analytics could be optimized by having a holistic world into Shopify. So we have to reframe to get more data being, better manageable, to rephrase a couple of, communicative and marketing standpoints towards our customers, and communicating with them via all those channels. It's just exhausting, but I have a great team that runs that, so I'm super happy. I mean, it's an innovation. My Apple Watch is talking to me. I think having a product that is so innovative, that is patented, that hasn't been before, just gives me, this pleasure of having invented something that I know it's used already by, hundreds of people, with pleasure, giving them the me time they need to have, better lives in a very little context, which is just a great thing to do. It's more than the classical bits and bytes world that I've been in before.
Mm-hmm. No, I see that, right? Because everyone who had made that experience knows that it's truly impacting life.
Yeah,
more fundamental than anything else. So it definitely.
But you're mentioning one thing, Ben. You just need to be a parent. You need to be in the problem, in exactly the timed problem that we're trying to solve. It's very hard to imagine what value it offers if you aren't a parent, if you have already grown up kids and you didn't know that this product existed, and so on and so forth. So communicating, targeting, tracking down the right audience is pretty complex, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I think that actually brings me to the next thing I wanted to ask, right? You already talked about you're running your own web shop, selling directly based on Shopify. But when it's about reaching your customers, is your strategy all direct to consumer, or is there also a retail strategy part of your go-to-market?
So we, once again, have to differentiate timings, right? I believe when you start a business, going digital first is, well, more cost efficient. You can learn better. And I would love to answer by, taking a more deeper look on primary characteristics of direct brands. They are very much centered around individual consumer relationships. So we receive tons of feedback that we can then back incorporate into product design, which we couldn't if we would have gone into retail, or even if we would have gone selling through Amazon, because you are so far away from the customers that you can't manage those relationships. Whereas within a web native brand, you can. So you are basically just socially closer to the consumer, which then in turn, which is a good and a bad thing, we are just like maniacally focused on consumer experience. The unpackaging experience, the whole unboxing, every little sound that it does, some people say it's great, some others say it's don't great. So how to accommodate all those different types of customers. And I would say that, our big mission ultimately needs to tell a story. So content marketing, no matter if it's on Instagram or Facebook or any other social channel, becomes very important to us. And no retail, salesperson is able to tell the story. So they wouldn't go for the why, they would go for the what. Those are the features that ABC, but people in our point of view aren't very much, feature driven. They're very value orientated. So it's just hard. In the end of the day, I believe someday omni-channel shopping will be the new normal. So you need to be present wherever your consumer is, which in turn it's a little bit more difficult because obviously customer acquisition costs are very different. It's still cannibalizing your own sales. So I think the CAC to LTV is a new purchase funnel, if you like to say so, with the problem that having just one product that is being bought just one time, you need to be positive basket-wise or gross margin-wise within the first sale, which of course is very hard in the beginning, where you have to educate people that you are coming within a new product category. So it's not only telling them, hey, you have the problem, you have solved that with, it's like music probably, back in the days, everybody was listening to their Walkmans, so you wanted to listen to music, you had your Walkman, and then suddenly you don't need the Walkman, but you fulfill the need of getting access to music by having streams. So you just need to educate people that there exists something like streams, and it works, but it's just like super cost expensive, so it's, there's so many different multiplicators. Germany is a very hard market for baby products, I would say, because everyone is, so much focused around health. I just do what my midwife tells me to do. I have basically barely no opinion. So my midwife is my ultimate ratio consultant, and talking to midwives is especially very hard. Because they never have time. There's different laws prohibiting them from advertising, etc., etc. So it's a very tough market. And I would always like to say we are like the cell phone cover, So the cell phone cover doesn't provide any value without the cell phone. So selling accessories that only work in conjunction with a main product is another more harder way to, build a successful business. But we're doing quite well. We are happy. Tons of things to adapt, to change, to iterate, to make better, more efficient. But going all well, but very sleepless nights.
Yeah, excited to hear all that. Thanks for sharing some insights on how your business is going. I'd like to ask you another subject, as you have taken on several new roles during a short period,
Yeah.
and one of them is being chairman for the large exhibition Dmexco.
Yes.
As we all know, right, it has turned to become a pure digital event only. I was part of the conference, of course, over many years, attending there, exhibiting, and so on, and getting that experience. What is your summary? And I'm actually keen in the kind of the success criteria for managing or measuring the outcomes of that, and what are the learnings? What will stay from the pure digital version?
I mean, it's been two super intenseful, eventful, and exciting days that we had during Dmexco at Home. I mean, we gathered more than 260 partners, had an impressive lineup of plus 800 speakers coming from all over the world, producing over 160 hours of educational and inspirational content. We had 20,000 participants registering in the show. We did some quite nice revenue on it even, so it was profitable per se, way not comparable to a physical event that scales differently, but it was a huge learning. So we had 10,000 people on the platform throughout the day, and as in life and as with big organizations, there's no one size fits all. There's lovers and haters. There's people that took way more out than expected. There's people that expected more that they took out. So it's hard to imagine what those key KPIs are that you want to measure yourself on. I think ultimately, like in any business, it's revenue. Then it's probably NPS. Then it's probably retention time or retention in general. It's churn. It's commitment. I think with the platform, what we've done, we've just proven to ourselves and to the community that we are not resting. So we only had 3 months to compile the entire platform, technologically, process-wise, content-wise, etc. And I believe we did a pretty good job for that. And going, one step farther, we personally believe that having September 21, we will, for almost 100% certainty, gather in person again. I mean, it's the vaccines coming out. People start to find ways to live with COVID. Potentially even COVID will go away in a year, not entirely, but in a way that allows us to gather in person. And when you gather in person, the big question arises, how to enlarge or combine digital aspects with a physical event. Because we can't run a big Dmexco at home digital version at the same time as we were running a physical event, because they're obviously sort of competing to each other, competing for attention, competing for dollars or euros, so competing on so many dimensions. So the big question is going to be, what is a hybrid event, right? And I personally hate the word, so hybrid events is like horrible. But people understand what I mean. It's just like combining the on-site and the off-site, or the physical and the in person and the digital world. And obviously there's things that are quite easy to do. It's, you have content being presented, on site, and you stream it live. Then the first question arises: who is it streamed by, and who is it streamed for? Because there's partners that want to have just ultimate reach. They want to teach thought leadership, and there's others that say, I'm not interested in the leads. I'm interested in the leads. I'm not interested in the reach. I just want relevancy.
I want meetings.
Yeah, exactly. So there's partners that want meetings. There's partners that want just reach. There's partners that don't want meetings. Can you imagine? So it's very complex, and I believe that's the easy part. There's more complex parts when it comes to the interactive layer, the exchange layer. So you have, of course, 3 stakeholders. You have exhibitors, speakers, and visitors. We can cut out the speakers because it's at least the most simple to combine in both worlds, but having exchange being sort of not forced, but driven across geographical boundaries, it's not easy. So let's imagine you are an exhibitor and there's a client also in person coming to your booth, and he needs an expert that is not there. So you could theoretically, get somebody from abroad into the meeting on site. Let's imagine you have a visitor that is not actively, in Cologne, but he is still in the US because, Corona is still there, and he wants a meeting, or he wants to, just get sort of in touch with somebody. Can he? Should he during that time or a day later? Those sort of questions are ultimately very important. I mean, you can solve it really with simple solutions, but you can go as crazy as like, VR, AR, you're going through a 3D animated real life hall and you see little dots all around, and those dots are those people, and you can just like, approach and contact them. But then a big question arises, why should I take my cell phone being on an on-site event and talk to somebody that is somewhere else? Is it the experience that I've expected from an on-site event? So many questions, many opportunities, and we're working on, providing solutions to all of them to have a very ROI-driven, pragmatic, and self-explaining Dmexco 21 that is going to be hybrid.
So I look forward to that. Thanks for sharing some insights.
Sure.
I look forward to the final version of 21. One final thing I wanted to ask you, because I'm also very keen and interested in that topic, is the topic of your role as a professor for digital education. Maybe not going too deep, because I also want to come to an end and keep that consumable here. We could probably go forever. Really enjoying that. In your role as a professor for digital education, right? What is your vision for the role, or for Germany in that sense? We're doing that.
I'm an entrepreneur by heart. So I've just, founded companies, founded a venture capital fund, invested in companies my entire life. But my parents forced me to, do my studies, do my PhD. And then suddenly somebody approached me and asked me, hey, do you want to become a professor? And I was thinking about it for over a year until finally committing. And I believe that in my role within Dmexco, I've realized a couple of years ago that providing access to knowledge and inspiration in our lifelong learning journeys, it's crucial. It's at least as important as doing business itself. And the professor role that I took at the XU University just gives me the opportunity to somehow, share my experiences and digital knowledge to the next generation. And especially being a father myself, and at least I have little small children, not yet at school, but I'm reading so much around very fucked up educational systems all over the world, but also in Germany. I thought that understanding XU's role of being an exponential learning platform with a very digital heavy curriculum, but B processes in place, would give me the opportunity to bring in my entrepreneurial knowledge, and B, to try to, re-engage with our future generations on a more practical way, to at least, be a little part of the puzzle that helps to change our old-fashioned and analog teaching systems.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. It was a fun time spending with you today, Dominik.
Likewise.
I think people can learn from your enthusiasm and experience. So I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation today, and hopefully maybe up to a next one on a new chapter, a new topic in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. Take care, buddy.